Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm a second-year medical student at Semmelweis University in Budapest, Hungary, and I'm also a researcher at the Department of Biochemistry, and I'm a mom of four kids. Now, my kids were born here in Hungary and they're Hungarians, but neither my husband nor I are from here originally. So the question I get asked a lot is, where am I from? And I don't know about you, but for me, that's a super difficult question to answer, to be honest, because I grew up in a few different countries in a multicultural and a multilingual family. I was born in the USSR, and my mother became a widow when I was a baby, so I never knew my dad. And when I was little, she met my stepdad, who came from the UK to work as an English teacher in Russia, and that's where they met. A few years later, we started to move around a lot. We spent a lot of years living in China and Vietnam because of my parents' work. And so I ended up attending all sorts of different schools, starting from local Chinese schools to Russian embassy schools to being homeschooled based on the UK system as well. So there's quite a mix there in the background. And of course, being an only child, there wasn't much else for me to do after school. So I would go to my parents' workplace and spend a lot of time there, being surrounded by English teachers from all over the world. I did a bit of work and volunteering in Shanghai after graduating high school, and then I ended up moving to Moscow with my parents, where I studied law and foreign languages for a couple of years. Although I always wanted to do medicine, but that's a different story. And that was the time when I met my husband, who was already living in Hungary at the time, where I moved eventually. I have been here since 2011, which is more than a third of my life already. And I feel like all the places that I grew up in and my multicultural, multilingual family had an influence on who I am today, which is somebody who can identify with quite a few cultures and countries and languages, but at the same time, someone who doesn't really have very deep roots in any one of those cultures. Which, on the one hand can be a wonderful thing, but it can also be a little bit challenging at times. So that's where I'm from in a nutshell. If you feel like you can relate to this story and have a similar one to tell, please do. I would love to hear your stories.